Hi, I'm Jonathan Hinckley, and I'm one of the preachers at the Temple City Church of Christ in the city of Temple City, California. I'm excited to bring you a new series which is called Hope in His Word. And it's about hope in God's Word. That is where you find hope. No matter what's happening around you, no matter what situations are going on in your life, hope always comes from God. And we need to find that hope in His Word, what He left us. I'm here to tell you a big thing, and maybe many of you believe this already. If you don't, I still want to share this with you, and I hope you believe it. The Holy Bible is God's Word. The Bible means the book. Basically, when we say the Bible, we're saying it's the book, the most important book of all, because it is all the written down things that we have up to now of what God has left for us written down. It's like a letter from Him to us. I'm going to take a few things for granted as we go over this study about His Word. First of all, I'm going to read to you from something in the Bible in Hebrews. I'm going to take for granted that you believe in God and then you believe this is His Word. Now, if you don't, I hope you follow along anyway and see what you get out of this. But first of all, I want to read you this from Hebrews chapter 11. Hebrews chapter 11 says in verse 3, "By faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible." In other words, if you look at the world around you, you can tell that God made it. And in verse 6, it says, "And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to Him must believe that He exists and that He rewards those who earnestly seek Him." I'm recording this at a time when a lot of people are stuck inside their homes because of the coronavirus outbreak. I hope that this will be useful for any time people watch it. But whenever you find a little bit of time, and actually I think you should find some time, whenever you find some time to spend in God's Word, I want you to take that time seriously. Because see, if you believe in God, the next thing you need to believe is that He will reward you if you seek Him. And this is how you do it. It's very simple. By reading what He has written down for you. Most people don't do that. And I would encourage you right now to take the time to do that. If you don't already have one, get your hands on a Bible. These days, though, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a book, although I recommend that, but you can also get online and start reading the Bible. And I'm talking to people who have never read the Bible before, but also to people who've read it all their lives. May this be a chance for us to spend some time in God's Word, reading His words. And not only by yourself, whoever you live with, if you happen to have your family around you, and especially if you're parents, especially if you're responsible for the young people in your home, get together with them and spend some time reading God's words, because the hope is in His Word. Now we want to start off with a quick introduction. And again, for those who are new to it, this may be something new, but also to those who've been reading for a while, I want you to pay close attention. There's two basic sections of the Bible that we talk about. And I'm going to pull up really quickly the table of contents in the Bible I have in front of me. And it refers here to the books of the Old Testament and the New Testament. So this is what you might see as you look at the book version of a Bible. Of course, if you're looking up online, you might see all of these books at once, and then you can choose which one you want to read. First of all, we have the books of the Old Testament, and then the books of the New Testament. Now, if you've been reading the Bible all your life, I have something to encourage you to do, to take a look at all these books of the Old Testament and ask yourself, do you know a little bit about each one? Because it's my experience that a lot of Christians know quite a bit about the New Testament, but still could study a whole bunch more in the Old Testament. But if you're new, or even if you've been reading the Bible for all your life, I want to right now point out one book called the Book of John. Now, you notice there's some other books here called John, 1 John, 2 John, and 3 John that are different. I'm just going to be focusing on this one that's called John. I want to encourage you to start reading in the book of John. To understand what you're going to find in the book of John, and also what you'll find in all the Bible, I want to tell you really quickly about that word testament. What does it mean? Testament means an agreement. So if you might have heard people refer to their last will and testament, that means something that someone wrote down that they plan to have come into effect after they die. But it can also mean just an agreement, or a word that's used a lot in the Bible, a pact. See, God made an agreement with his people. And when you read through the Old Testament, you're going to be reading about an agreement he made back then, a long time ago. But in the old agreement, God always said a new one was coming. And so as we read the books of the New Testament, we find out how God brought about that new agreement. And the new agreement all has to do with a key figure in all of human history, and that is Jesus Christ. See, John talks about how Jesus came here and changed everything, not as a surprise because God had always said it was coming, but Jesus changed everything from the old agreement, and he brought us a new and better one. So as you read the book of John, you're going to be reading about what Jesus said and what he did. I'd like you to just get started on that. Now, once again, if you've been reading the Bible for a long time and you might say to yourself, I know about John, I know about the Old Testament, I know about the New Testament, I want to encourage you to think in one different way. I want you to ask yourself, when is the last time you've read the book of John with someone else? When is the last time you explained the Old and the New Testament to someone else? And again, especially if you're a parent, do your children and do all the people in your household know about the Old Testament and the New Testament? And do they know the book of John inside out? You see, it's our goal to learn everything we can about what God has written down for us. I can tell you I have a lot left to learn about everything in here. And that's why I continue to read this book as often as I can. So if you have some time, or again, a better way to put it is, you make some time, sit down with your family, or sit down by yourself, and you spend some time reading the book of John. Enjoy. Talk to you soon.